I chose to analyse the film Man on Fire due to the genre being something similar to what I'd like my final project to be. What I like about this opening sequence is that it is nearly a movie in itself, without it seeming too much like a trailer. This is because, during the sequence, it shows a man wearing a suit who is kidnapped, tortured and released all in 3.5 minutes. What made this achievable was the technique, such as quick cuts and transitions between cuts, showing different locations and different characters, but still making the sequence easy to follow. Another factor which illustrates the genre is the music, which is extremely effective for its purpose, to build suspension and to entice the viewer to want to watch the rest of the film. What I think makes this opening sequence effective is the font and the style of credits. Although they are not subtle, which is not necessarily a bad thing, they work well with the backing shots. This sequence of fast cuts, with the music playing and credits being showed, is extremely effective in building suspense. I would like to use this effect of quick cuts in order to build suspense if it is necessary for the genre of my final project. During Mission Impossible, there is non-diegetic dialogue between characters whilst credits begin to show. I like this technique, and I think that when there is non-diegetic dialogue between the two characters, there should not be anything in the sequence which could cause the viewer to lose focus on the dialogue, as it may be key to the plot of the film, which is why I think in this case the director has used a black background and extreme close-ups of objects. He also uses extreme close-ups in order to show injuries of the character's face and their facial expressions. I think that this opening sequence of a lit fuse burning works well with the theme tune of the film, as they are both fast, explosive, and create tension. The quick cuts of different angles of the match lighting a fuse. These quick cuts of the fuse burning out are effective, as they work well with the tempo of the theme tune, which is heard at the same time. I like the use of flames, as I think they are a good way to entice the viewer, because personally I find flames and fire exciting. With this technique, I use either the use of different lighting or a different font, because I think that they counter each other and throw the emphasis off the font, which is not good due to the credits being the main title of the film. In thrillers, there are many conventional props such as weapons, e.g. knives and rope. I would use rope as it is a useful prop, which I shall use in order to tie my victim up, and I shall use close-ups of the victim's hands tied together to emphasize the use of this prop. I shall also use binoculars and a camera, which shall be useful and shall illustrate the fact that the kidnapper is a stalker. Another prop, which I'm unsure whether to use, is a tape to cover up her mouth, and a mask in order to cover up the kidnapper's face, so that only the eyes can be seen. If I do use this, it shall build suspense, and only seeing the eyes shall work with close-ups. My victim is a female, aged between 16 and 20. This is a very conventional character in a thriller due to the stereotypical vulnerability. My kidnapper is also aged between 16 and 20. As these two characters are both around the same age, it appears that the plot is a typical boy loves girl, girl rejects boy, boy stalks, kidnaps girl. My location, I feel, fits well with the genre of the film, as depending on which parts of the underground hospital I shall use, it is creepy and mysterious. This is because of lighting and the echoing of the sound in the tunnels. As this location is fairly dark in many parts, it is a conventional location for a thriller. This establishing shot will slowly pan, illustrating the victim living her normal life. It shall then transition to this close-up of her hands tied up and sitting in a chair. This will illustrate that she has been kidnapped. The sequence will then transition back to a panning shot of the victim living her normal life again. During these normal life shots, there shall be the non-diegetic sound of photos being taken, which shall illustrate that she is being watched. The sequence will then continue to transition to a close-up of the victim's face, who is possibly unconscious, which shall show expressions such as pain, suffering, or blood. The sequence will then show different angles, showing the situation and what is likely to occur. I am unsure whether to have my victim escaping or to keep her trapped and have the main title appear as the victim is waking up, to leave the introduction as a cliffhanger. During my film research, I looked into other films in order to see how they use their titles. This shall give me an idea on how I should portray my titles in my final project. During the research of locations, I used my character, the kidnapper, to walk around my location in order to find out how to use lighting and sound. During the planning stage of my project, I have been keeping track of what I've been doing and then publishing them to YouTube. I created a questionnaire in order to get a feel for what my project should be. I shall analyse the results from this questionnaire and take them into account when I make my final project. I use the application iCal in order to organise and keep track of my work. As you can see from the month of October, as well as doing blog research, I began filming, doing mundane tasks and preliminary tasks. During the planning phase of my project, I have been able to publish my ideas with the use of Twitter.